ओम सर्वधर्मस्थापकस्त्वं सर्वधर्मस्वरूपकः आचार्याणां महाचार्यो रामकृष्णाय ते नमः. We are studying here Sri Ramakrishna the Great Master, fifth part, Master in Divine Mood and Narendranath. And we are about to finish the sixth chapter. Sixth chapter had two sections, and the original name was Extraordinary Relation between Sri Ramakrishna and Narendranath. Chaitanya has translated the divine nature, and I thought that relation between Sri Ramakrishna and Narendranath was not of this world, alokik. And we have just now seen two extraordinary events, unexpectedly extraordinary events. And one is, Swamiji is not agreeing to Advaita at all. And he and Hazara were joking about it. And Thakur came out and said, "What are you talking?" and just touched him. So that is divine mood, you see, that Thakur is nothing but God in human form. So his will is supreme. And how many types he can handle human mind? So sometimes he touched Narendranath trying to give him Nirvikar Smarth. Sometimes he overpowered his upper mind and got the inner mind. And now just by a touch, Narendra is experiencing something different. But here we saw yesterday that anybody and everybody cannot be given such experience. That will be of no avail or maybe of damage to them. So Narendra was given. And that is why Saradananda Swamiji has said that the two lives are intermingled so much. That is why he has given this name. Now, and second event was, Narendra is telling, from morning 11 to night 11 they are together. Saradananda Swamiji, Ramakrishna Swamiji and Narendra. And Narendra is lost in his own mind, as if talking to himself. He is telling that this Gora Roy of Dakshineshwar can do anything. He is distributing love, devotion, knowledge, mukti, whatever he likes. And then he said that I was sleeping. And then he pulled the inside of this to Dakshineshwar, gave him various instructions, and then let me come out. So definitely man's external is only an external cross covering. There is a subtle body. You know, it is called Linga Sharira. Right? What is the meaning of Linga Sharira? That is actually the, what do you call, in Hindi, Pahchan. That is how the man is known, by what his mind is. So it is called Linga Sharira, explaining the nature of personality of that man. So that Linga Sharira the soul sharir is lying in that room and nobody else is there. They would have seen a dead body, dead-like body. In Shankaracharya we read Parakaya Pravesh. That is his own body. But Thakur is playing with anybody's body. We have never heard in any yoga scripture this type of thing. So pulling and giving instruction. Now instructions are given to the mind. So sufficiently instructions are given. And then let him go back. That means he releases that and the subtle body reaches its place. This we are read. Now, the last paragraph, 18. Entering the author's house, Narendra had a unique experience. The darkness of dusk had intensified into a jet black night. From dusk this started, and now it has become jet black night. We could not see each other, nor was it necessary, for the glowing mass of Narendra's spiritual emotions. This emotion is not a very happy word. I explained several times. This has become a very common word these days. My Guruji used to say emotion is biological. So, there is emotion, there is feeling. And my Guruji used to say, that feeling is genuine, which proceeds from the absolutely tranquil heart. And then he used to continue and said that thinking is genuine, which proceeds from the absolutely tranquil heart. That will is genuine, which proceeds from the absolutely tranquil heart. So we may roughly say bhav, bhavana, and bhavochas. Bhavochas, Thakur has explained, one chatak of milk in a big kadai. It appears as if the whole kadai is filled up. But when it is cools down, even that one chatak is not seen. So these are the different things. So, but these days the word has become so commonly used, emotion. And my teacher used to say, man starts with emotion. But when he tries to control that emotion by philosophical reasoning and practical reasoning, try to temper that emotion. If it is only emotion, it will be controlled. But if feeling is mixed with it, that feeling will not go by your control. That feeling is genuine. Then you understand. So emotion is all right, but not emotionalism. Don't be carried away by that. I will tell you a funny incident which I shared with people already. In a school in Amritsar, generally there was quite a bit of interaction with the students. But in one day I had to give 4 or 5 lectures. So that day the principal madam said, today it is not possible. You talk to the boys when they are standing in their prayer. So after their prayer, I gave a small talk, 20 minutes. And I told them that in everybody's heart, God resides. That was the theme. Then I came away near the motor to come up. One boy, sick boy, came running as if his life depends on that. I have a question. Madam said, no, you cannot escape. Reply. He said, Hindi, बुजुर्गों से हमने सुना है कि दिल की बात नहीं माननी चाहिए और आप कह रहे हैं दिल में भगवान रहते हैं. Both he liked, so conflict came. So I told him, my boy, this word dil is used in 2 different senses. The mind and the heart. And mind has emotions. And if you are carried away by the emotions, you will go to ruination. That is why the bujurg, the mature people have told you, dil ki baat nahi manni chahiye. And I was talking about the dil, which is the heart. And I said, dil ke andar Bhagwan rehte hain. So you have to go deep in your personality to find God. That is the difference. He liked and went away. That I remember. So this emotion and feeling should be understood. Even I remember another incident. I was invited by Revered Prabhananji to Culture Institute in 2001, November, December. And the topic given was challenges before Vedanta, real challenges before Vedanta today. And the president was one professor of Nyaya. Now I gave my talk, I am not telling the details of the talk. And president while concluding says, the lecturer was emotional at times. And emotion, however good, cannot replace solid reason. Nyaya professor is still. Now because he presided, I had no occasion to say something on that. Then Prabhananji told me, make a paper out of it. So my articles are published in January and February 2002 in Bulletin of Institute of Culture. And there I said that some people said like this. Reason, however solid, can never replace experience. And we have seen now in Narendra's case. And we know the difference between emotion and feeling. And we are talking of feeling. And Swamiji has said that two flows, currents of knowledge and bhav were going parallel. And where they meet, we get the Upanishads. That is Swamiji's statement. So understand? And I said that experience is, feeling is nearer to experience than reason. So that is the whole treatment. So here, the word is repeatedly, we have said this in the beginning many times, repeatedly is spiritual emotion, spiritual emotion. Now the spiritual word is added so one can understand that. The glowing mass of Narendra's spiritual emotion had entered deep into our heart and produced such an intoxication in our mind that even its frame, the body, was actually reeling. Its frame means mind's frame, body. That also was reeling. Sadhana Swamiji. And the real world existing so long had, as it were, receded to a realm of a dream. What you call real world, that has gone to dream. And this has become real. Moreover, the truth that under the impulse of pure unalloyed grace, the infinite God appears to be finite as a human being, sets in motion the wheel of religion, destroying the bondage of the past impressions of thousands of jivas, the truth which according to the majority of the people of the world is but a fib of the imagination, then stood revealed to us in its living blazing form. So Avatar of Thakur was clearly understood. How time slid away we did not know, but suddenly we heard the clock strike 9. I was reluctantly thinking of taking leave of Narendra. When he said, "Come, let us go. I will accompany you for a short distance." As we were going, similar interesting topics were started, and we became soon absorbed in them. It occurred to us when we reached home at near Chapatala that it was foolish on our part to have let Narendra come so far. Therefore, inviting him to the house, we asked him to take a little refreshment, which done, we accompanied him up to his house and returned, because they were two, so they returned to him. I remember distinctly, now parody, here it has come. I remember distinctly another incident of that day. As soon as he entered our house, Narendra stood motionless, saying, I feel I have seen this house before. I find everything here is all known to me. All the rooms and the ways leading to them are all fully known to me. Oh, how strange and wonderful. The reader might remember that we described before in another place that Narendra had such experiences in his life from time to time, and what he said about the cause of such phenomena. So we do not repeat them here. That is, it is not some past impressions life or nothing like that. At the time when Narendra is going to be born, he has seen a cinema like, and all the places which he has to visit and all that, he has seen future things at the time of his birth. That Narendra understood much later. First he thought some impressions. Then he understood it like this. So extraordinary. So we pass on to chapter 7, the master's method of tasting and Narendranath. Now I wonder, Saradananda Swamiji was a student of surgery, but his brain is mathematical because everything 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Because that is the way to understand. When we categorize things, we understand better. So now, method of tasting, we'll put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have told the reader elsewhere that finding uncommon characteristics in Narendra, the master found him to be a person highly qualified for spiritual attainments and bound him to him by his extraordinary selfless love. Ever since he met him first, that we have seen. He nevertheless, now and then, examined him, even as he proceeded with educating him in spiritual matters. What is the relation between these two? Examining and teaching. Examining is not for declaring pass or fail. Examining is how to teach him. Nachiketa and Yamaraj, you see, he tests him in so many, and first he talks of Shreya and talks of him. He goes on examining him, finds him fit, and then starts teaching him. So, what level is there that Thakur examines and teaches? That is the relation. I am going to talk on this because the Philippines, they want not Thakur's concept of education. So, testing and educating. The master's peculiar way of testing the nature of people. So, it is not only about Narendra. He will show his method of testing and peculiar because we do not find it in others. When the Brahmo Samaj was about to be split over the difference of opinion regarding the Kuch Bihar marriage, the master said to Keshav, you take anybody and everybody without examining him in order to add to the number of your society. Is it surprising, therefore, that it will dissolve? I do not accept anyone without examining him thoroughly. First examination, whether to admit in the school or not. Astonishing indeed are the various ways through which the master used to examine the devotees who came to him, with or without their knowledge. They would not know even. I will tell something funny about myself. When I was the warden in Nagpur, I was the sole responsible for admission. Nobody else would even talk of recommend. So a boy comes, asks for the form. I was sitting in a library office working there. One boy came with his father. He is listening now. and smart boy with felt cap. And then I was going on telling him negative things. And he was a sportsman. So he'll not allow hockey here. Don't come here. So many things I thought. And while going out, I just patted him on his shoulder. Come tomorrow, you take the form. Form is not yet taken. When they went out, his father said, "You have done a mistake. Swami does not want to take you." He said, "Swami has selected me, father." Anyway. Generally, I should talk negatively. Another case is there. Two boys came. One boy had filled the form, so I had invited him for the interview. And whatever I am telling, you see, you must attend Arati half an hour, whether you like or not, for MSc Physics. So your study may not hamper. Then used to think, oh, I will adjust. Then lights are put up at 10:30. Oh, I will adjust. And the other boy was telling, oh, wonderful. Ashram has these niyamas. Oh, very fine, very fine. Then I asked, who is he? Then he said, I am his friend. He never told me even about your admissions. And now when the interview came, we came together. I said, you take this form, fill up, you are admitted. And the other boy said, I will think about you and take it. Anyway. I am a most ordinary man, but I am telling methods of testing. I said, without, nobody was allowed to recommend to me. Swamis. Now, that first boy, his father, that boy's maternal uncle was a devotee. So the father said, I wanted to go through him like that. That would not have mattered. At the age of 70, he follows every class today. And he will come here on 20th of May. So with or without their knowledge. This happened with his knowledge, but not his father's knowledge at least. Or father thought negatively. Before he accepted them, one wonders how and whence he who had passed himself off as an illiterate person acquired the mastery of those unseen and unheard of methods. Thakur has not studied these methods in any book. Naturally, the question crops up. Was it the self-revelation in this life of knowledge acquired in his previous life? That is how he will go on stating, and then he will say, because he is incarnation. Boom. So one possibility, past life he has learned, and the impressions are there. Or was it the result of his acquiring supersensuous vision and all-knowingness by dint of his sadhana, like those of the seers of old? Or again, was it the manifestation of that knowledge due to his prerogative of being an incarnation of God, of which he told his devotees of the inner circle? So everybody is not telling Thakur I am God. Although these queries naturally arise in our minds, we are not now going to press them to solution. You think he lives in that close. We are merely concerned with giving, as far as possible, an accurate description of the series of events and leave it to the reader to come to his own conclusion regarding them. Yes, right. That is method. The ordinary method of examination. the reader will comprehend the extraordinary nature of the ways and means which the Master adopted to acquaint himself with the nature of people when we mention a few incidents concerning it. But before trying to understand them, he must know certain other things regarding those ways and means. As soon as someone came to him, the master we saw looked at that person in a peculiar way. If his mind was attracted towards that person, when he did so, he talked to him on religion in a general way. First, whether there is, you see, we say potential divine, but there is another potentiality, whether that divine will be realized in this life or not. It will not be possible for everybody to realize God. In thousands, somebody seeks, and in such way, very few realize. So, first glance, Thakur sees spiritual potential is there or not. If you think there is, then it must be. Not yet admitted, pre-professional. Talk to him on religion in a general way and ask him to see him from time to time. As time passed and as the person repeated his visits to him, so first of all, whether he has felt attraction or not, or just come one day, no. When the person repeated it, Sadhana analysis is something out of this world. You know an incident I will tell you. I told you already. I was in Rishikesh and I don't remember the names, but two brahmacharis from Belur came to me. And they told a story. There was a bank officer and very sincere in his work and all that. But at the time of retirement, they were going to give him a farewell party and some present. They asked him what we should give. He said, due to this busyness, I have not been able to read books at all. And I do not know which is good books and not. So you select some books and give to me. That will be gift. So somebody presented this Leelaprasanga to him. And after reading, he says, Asambhav, Asambhav, impossible, impossible, twice. About Thakur first, that such a man was living on earth with us, Asambhav. And second, about Saradananda Swami, a disciple of an incarnation, dissecting him like anything, impossible. Because they were a student of surgery, dissecting. And that is why this Leelaprasanga has to be studied. You know that incident, everything I repeated, what I repeat. When Swamiji, when Thakur was well known, he had written in preface. So Thakur became well known, everybody started writing about Thakur. When Swamiji came back, two people, Brahman Swamiji and Girish Babu, requested Swamiji to write a biography because you alone have understood Thakur. Swamiji said, if I go to write, then that Bengali proverb, instead of making Shiva, I will make a monkey. Then they said, if you say like that, then nobody can write. He said, Sharta Sala, likh de. No, why? Coolest mind and analytical brain among all disciples of Thakur. So as Master Mahashaya was brought by Thakur for Kathamrita, Saradananda Swami has come with that. Anyway, so many thoughts are coming to my mind. Pitwas Maharaj, you know, he came to Rishikesh twice, 2 months. And when I started Leelaprasanga, He said, what is sadhana, Swamiji? He is not counted as Ishwar Koti also. I am not discussing Ishwar Koti now, but I told him that is not the thing at all. Mahapurush Maharaj is not Ishwar Koti list. Somebody asked him, Mahapurush Maharaj, Maharaj, you are not in Ishwar. He said, I was Jiv Koti, Thakur made me Ishwar Koti. Anyway, so this, he was reserved for this purpose, that is what I am telling you. Supreme. You know, once Swami Vivekananda sent Brahmananda and Saradananda to meet some work in Calcutta. And when they came back, Brahman said, I will not go to him, you go and tell him. So he came and Swami asked, is the work over? He said, no. And Swami started scolding. No brains, keep your brain. So much scolding. And he's listening. And the cook or somebody brought tea for both of them. He started taking the tea. Swami said, so much I am scolding. He said, should the tea become cold? What happened? Why the work was not done? That man was not there. We could not meet him. Then he could have told, you have not allowed me to tell anything. That is the coolness. Anyway, some other people also are cool. They are blunt. Not that. So sharp. As time passed and as the person repeated his visits to him, he engaged himself in coming to a sure conclusion regarding the dormant spiritual tendencies in him. So spiritual tendencies are of different types. By observing minutely, without his knowledge, the form of the limbs of his body, his mental tendencies, the intensity of his desire for enjoyment. You understand this point? All of us have desire for enjoyment. But whether we can control and transcend or will not be able to, that is the intensity. The intensity of his desire for enjoyment, especially his attachment to lust and God. They are the main obstructions. As also how far his mind had been or was being attracted towards him. That is a test. Because in Thakur, the spirituality itself. So how much he is attracted. He gathered these data by observing how he talked, acted and behaved. This observation was so keen and thorough that it took him but a few days to have a perfect knowledge of the character of that person. But even then a few days. Afterwards, if it were at all necessary to know anything deeply hidden in the person's mind, the master knew it with the help of his subtle yogic insight. One day he said to us regarding this, when I am alone during the last hours of the night, I am engaged in thinking of your good. Mother reveals everything about you to me, how far each one of you has progressed, what blocks the further progress of anyone to spirituality and so on. That is teacher. Let not the reader think from these words of the master that his yogic eyes open during sadhana as a balance. That only during that time his yogic eyes open. No. For this purpose he opened at that time. That is yogic eyes open during those hours only. It is clear from his words spoken at other times that he could at will ascend to higher planes of consciousness and attain that vision at any time. And the masculine is doing at that time, otherwise any time. Take for example his words, just as when looking at a glass case, sees all the things within it, so as soon as I look at a person, I see all his thoughts, past impressions, etc. Thoughts are the current thoughts, and impressions are deeper inside. Whenever the master met for the first time a person highly qualified for a particular spiritual mood, he would have ecstasy in that mood. A person has a particular mood. Thakur will go to samadhi in that mood. From there he would see how much he is. What description is there? How all these ideas come to them. Whenever the master met for the first time a person highly qualified for particular spirituality, he would have to see that this was the method which the master generally adopted when he tried to acquaint himself with the nature of the ordinary devotees. From this, however, he deviated more or less in the case of especial devotees of the inner self. It was by the dispensation of providence that he had his first meeting with them while he was in higher planes of consciousness. He has seen them already. We have said elsewhere in this book that the body and mind of the master became by the extraordinary power of his sadhana a wonderful instrument wherewith he could conserve spiritual powers in himself and know of their existence in others. Spiritual powers are kept in him and how much they are in others. Oh, I have told some incidents because of you people tendency to repeat. Did I tell you about my elder brother one day? I am talking of my teacher now. When I decided to join, finally everything worked. Today I am going from my house to Nagpur. I was the youngest of four brothers, so the one who was just senior to me, Chhota as we call it. He said, your face is toward the east, my face is toward the west. I said, if you think like that, what I can think? Now, Providence. He was in Mumbai, house in Gwalior. Nagpur is nowhere in the picture. And something about his marriage was there. To see a girl or something. He was going from Mumbai to Gwalior. The train, before his train got delayed. So his train got deviated by Nagpur. He was an extremely resourceful person. So he inquired that break journey is allowed 3 days in this journey also. Then he took a taxi and told the taxiwala he did not know whether he can stay in the ashram because his face is to the west. He told taxi, come there and I will ask whether I can stay and I will pay you. Otherwise, I will come back by the same taxi and enter the same train. Now, I was in those days living in a ashram compound behind the road. And at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, I had some work in the ashram. So I entered from side gate. His taxi came from the front gate. And he told me like this, and can I stay? I said, surely you can stay. But the Swami was walking in the veranda. I said, he is there, let us ask him. So he went there and told in short, he is asking, can I stay in the ashram? What my master says, how much? No, is break journey allowed? Question, answer is question. He said, how many? He understood. How many days can I stay? How many days break journey is allowed? So he stayed for 3 days. Now when he was to go back, we had a class from another Swami. So I told him, you will take leave from the Maharaj. And that was in the veranda just in front of our class. So he started weeping profusely and said, one boy you have kept and the other you are driving away. He said, I am not driving away anybody. I will keep you as I have kept him. But I clearly see the pattern of your life is different. Go ahead, don't be afraid. That means go and marry. What happened, sir? West and East? All those sanskaras my master saw and aroused them within 3 days. Married, stayed with his wife 55 years as brahmacharis. Pattern of your life is different. He could conserve spiritual powers in himself and know of their existence in others. On the other hand, some tempted to tell everything personal what to do. I was not even officially joined. I stayed like that for 3-4 years. Now afterwards I joined. So, publication manager on leave. Jivanika's chief editor on leave. And I am managing all those things. Small boy. So I went to Maharaj and said, you have done some miracle. I never thought I had any managing capacity. He said, don't give undue credit. I do not create anything. But I saw that in you on the first day. You are not aware. I created such situation that will come up. Mister, that is called Mahant. This was literally true. As soon as the master was a person, saw a ये मिसप्रिंट हो गया थोड़ा सौ का विवाद हो गया कहाँ गया रे मेरी पेंसिल है ना यहाँ पर I will do it afterwards. Yes. Person with a particular spiritual mood in his mind, his own mind, we always notice would be colored by that mood under some divine impulse. And no sooner had a person come to him having ascended to a particular plane in the spiritual realm, then his own mind would naturally ascend to that plane where the others was and reveal to him the ideas of that person's mind. So type and level, both. Match. Because he is from the highest level, so he can see everything. The reader will understand what we mean if you recall the master's experience as previously mentioned when Narendra visited him first. Akhanda and all that he saw. The 4 methods of his testing people. Now 1, 2, 3, 4. This did not, however, preclude him from applying the ordinary methods adopted to know the character of the person in people in general in the case of his devotees of the inner circle. When he dwelt in the normal plane of consciousness, he observed their talk and behavior as well as those of other devotees, not even excepting Narendra. Not until then could he be free from anxiety. So all the people who have deep spiritual experience, they do not give value to that unless they taste it physically. If some people, little emotion, little spirituality, he believes in that, forgetting the objectivity. But those who are really deeper, they don't say we saw that, we saw that. They see this. That is in Thakur. The matter being so important, the reader must be made acquainted with it fully. We can divide the ways and means adopted by the master to examine his devotees into 4 main divisions. As we already, our progress is very less today. As we have already stated their broad principles in the beginning, we may now explain them to the reader with the help of illustration. Firstly, the master ascertained the strong past impressions of a newcomer by observing his physical characteristics. Mind creates a body, so he can see from that. Ascertaining the mental impressions from physiognomy. This science is called physiognomy. In the process of our thoughts being transformed into actions, they leave a special mark in particular parts of our brain and body. Modern physiology and psychology have proved a great deal of this fact and have confirmed our belief. The Vedas and other scriptures, however, have been telling us this for a long time past. The Vedas, the Smritis, the Puranas, the Darshanas and all other scriptures of the Hindus have unanimously proclaimed that mind creates this body. With the current of a man's thoughts moving constantly in a good or bad channel, his body changes and assumes forms helpful to the fulfillment of those thoughts. You know split personality? Every personality is split, less or more. Now, in Lucknow University, 40, 50 years back, perhaps I was in my house or just joined, I don't remember. In Illustrated Weekly, a series of articles was coming. In Lucknow University, there was a department of parapsychology. And take a man's photo and draw a vertical central line and cut away those and replicate this and this. You'll find two persons. One of them generally good, one of them bad. You know the story of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde is there. Oh, you don't know. Anyway, R.L. Stevens, scientific fiction. So one man thought he was a doctor. How that bad thing comes. So he went on experimenting and making some medicine. And when he used to take that in the night, he would become the other person, the ruffian. I want to go and commit so many nonsense and come back and become normal self again. Slowly, slowly that habit grew and he could not come back. That is a story, Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. Fiction. With the current of a man's thoughts moving constantly in a body, his body changes and assumes forms helpful to the fulfillment of those thoughts. Many proverbs are current amongst us regarding the ascertainment of the character of people by the observation of the formation of their bodies and limbs. You know, in olden days, in UP especially, the groom's party has gone to see a girl, or like vice versa. They would carry the barber with them. And barbers were expert in seeing. It has been regarded up till now to be absolutely necessary to examine the body as a whole and all its limbs, the form of the hands and feet, etc., of the bride and the disciple at the time of marriage and initiation, respectively. For initiation, the Guru has to observe this. Now, mass scale initiation. The wonderful knowledge they master in this respect. All this he has described, but master's knowledge was not of this world. It was therefore not surprising that the master, a believer in all the Shastra, this is a Shastra, physiognomy, should observe the form of the bodies and limbs of his own disciple. But occasionally he used to say so many things in the course of conversation about it to us that we wondered whence he could get so much information. That is not information for him, it's directly. We sometimes asked ourselves whether there was any big book on the subject coming down from ancient times, reading or hearing which he had come to know all these things. But as we had not so far seen or heard of such a book, the idea had to be given up as having no basis. So we went on listening to him with astonishment as he narrated how the formation of each limb and sense organ of the body of men and women resembled a particular thing of our daily knowledge. That means this limb is like that. You know, in the case of nose, not the conclusion, but how many types of nose man has and with what animals they tell you. In Chandigarh, there is a big museum and one section is given to this. Horse-like nose, monkey-like nose, like that. Birds-like nose. So man's nose and that animal's nose, that paired and kept like. Nose is nose. resembled a particular thing of our daily knowledge. That's what I'm telling. And what good and bad effects are produced by such formations. Take for example, the eyes of a person. Speaking of them, you would say that in the case of some, they were like the petals of a lotus. In scriptures, Purana, God is always painted like that. Kamalapatraksh. In the case of others, like the eyes of a bull, that is Visha's eyes. Man full of lust, his eyes is like that of a bull. And in the case of still others, like those of yogis. A person having his eyes like the petals of a lotus had good thoughts in him. One whose eyes are like those of a bull has lust predominant in him. The yogi's eyes have an upward look and are reddish, and the eyes like those of gods are not very large, but long, reaching very near the ears. Akarna. Yogis have an upward look, like that. Eyes have an upward look. Those who are in the habit of looking through the corners of their eyes, now and then at the time of conversation, are more intelligent than ordinary people. Or I would start the topic of the nature of the general formation of people's bodies and say, a person of devotion has a soft body by nature, and the joints of his arms and legs are not thick set, that is, can be easily turned round, supple. Even if his body is thin, the bones, muscles, etc. in it are placed in such a way that the joints do not seem very angular. In order to ascertain whether a person's intelligence tends towards good or evil, the master would hold that person's forearm from the elbow to the fingers in his own hand and ask him to hold it loose. He would then feel its weight. If it was felt lighter than that of people in general, he regarded him as a person of beneficent intelligence. The master we mentioned before thus caught hold of the forearm of Swami Premananda and weighed it on the day of his first visit to the village, because the inner circle. But as he did not say why the master did so, we also did not mention there the purpose for which it was done. Our conclusion, however, was borne out by an incident on another occasion. We mentioned it below. Saradananda Swamiji's brother. Ascertaining the virtuous or vicious nature of the intellect of a man by the weight of his forearm. When the master was staying in the garden at Kashipur one day, the author's younger brother, Charu Chandra Chakravarti, came there to see him. The master was highly pleased to see him. That means spiritual potential. He made him sit beside himself, made many kind inquiries, and gave him various religious instructions. When the author came there, the master asked him, "Is the boy your brother?" When the author said yes, the master continued, "He is a nice boy, a little more intelligent than you. Let me see whether his intelligence tends toward good or evil." So more intelligent is not the main thing. More intelligent, good or bad. You know, the worst criminals are more intelligent than the police people. Saying so, he immediately held in his hand the said part of the voice or right, weighed and made the remark, "Beneficent intelligence." Afterwards, he asked the author affectionately once more, "Shall I attract him too? That is, shall I make his mind turn away from worldly life towards God?" That is at his will. What do you say? "It will be good, sir," replied the author. "Please do so." The master thought a little and said, "No, let me not do it. I have taken one, and if I take another now, your parents, especially your mother, will be much pained. I have offended many Shaktis during my life." No more of it now. Saying so, the master gave him religious instructions and some refreshments and bade him goodbye. The difference in the daily natural actions of the body indicates the difference in past impression. So one is physiology, no function, not the body. The master said that, like the formation of the limbs, etc., sleep, calls of nature, and other ordinary physical actions of person possessed of different past impressions differed widely. Therefore, experienced people used to say, found clues in these acts also for ascertaining the character of men. For example, he said, during sleep, all did not breathe in the same way. A worldly man did it in one way, and an all-renouncing one did it in a different way. What he has not described here. At the time of answering calls of nature, the former had his stream of urine deflected to the left, while the latter to the right. That the faces of a yogi were not touched by ox and soul. What Thakur knows is easy. Now there is an incident regarding it. Hanuman Singh, the gatekeeper. We will take next time. Om Sarvadharma Sthapakasvam Sarvadharma Swarupaka Acharyanam Mahacharyo Ramakrishna Te Namaha. Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Tat Sat Sri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu.
Prapanna Parijataya Totravitraikapanai Jnanamudraya Krishnaya Geetamritaduhe Namaha.